Hello, everyone, and a very, very good day from KubeCon EU 2024, which is in Paris. This is the last day of KubeCon, and we're here with Colin from Krumware. I think this is the second time I'm meeting you after Chicago. I'm not sure.
I we meet so many people.
Yeah,
I don't know, but I'm always happy to meet you.
yeah. And I'm always happy to chat with you. Primarily because you've been one of the most vocal ambassadors for SUSE and for Rancha. It's throughout the time that I have known you, and that's a very brief period, but I have heard lots of good stuff about you from a lot of people who have been here since quite some time.
Appreciate it.
So, what are we here to talk about today?
Yeah, I really just wanted to talk about platforms.
Well, it is I want to say buzzword, but it's also not a buzzword because given the attendance for the recent platform engineering day, the very first one, I believe.
600 plus.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a buzzword any longer because that was quite a turnout. Did you happen to attend it by any chance?
Yeah, it was great. Tons of awesome talks, but tons of great focus on, what a platform actually means, how people need to put together a platform maturity process or a journey. It's really great to see kind of this shift in thinking where people really care about how people are going to use these cloud native tools and bring them together and their experience of managing that, and not just how do we cobble some things together. So
You're
super
also the
excited.
co-lead for the platform working group, aren't you?
Yeah, brand new, brand new. They invited me to join. Was lucky enough. We've been working hard on the white paper and the models and attending all the meetings, but I'm really excited to do something a little more formal. I believe I really, really, really love the idea of platforms and how it can help people. And so it feels like something, it's like a very worthwhile cause to be a part of. And we're hearing platforms, everything, including there's tons of verbiage and language that you see that even in the AI keynote talking about platforms. So it's really fun to kind of be at the center of that conversation.
Yeah, and I bet it's an exciting time given that, there's so much focus. I believe you'll have also released a white paper. It was not recent, clearly, but I remember seeing it last year. So it's not recent. But are there any more initiatives in the working group that y'all are working towards in this year and y'all are particularly focused
Sure.
on?
Yeah, the big one is platform as a product.
Okay.
So bringing a product mindset, product led mindset to platform engineering, or helping people to understand how to codify that process, right? How should I approach the understanding of my end users, and how should I actually go understand what my developer needs if I'm building an IDE, or how my data engineer needs access to things, or what type of storage, but most importantly, what tools are we going to provide them in what ways, right? And that's a question that IT people sometimes forget about or ask. They want to kind of push their opinions on people.
Yeah, and I think we had Pete here a couple of days back, wherein we were talking about how we want people to actually be able to bring their own stuff when you're integrating into Rancher rather than, being prescriptive and being opinionated ourselves about the kind of tooling we actually provide with Rancher. And I believe
Right.
we are doing some really cool work together. So do you want to shed some light on that too?
Yeah, absolutely. We've been using Rancher probably 6 years now. We practice on the software engineering side as well as on the platform engineering side and the infrastructure management. So we've had to be users ourselves. And in order to really take this platform strategy head on, we needed something that was open and extensible that we could really grow with and give different tools to different people at the right time and still manage all those together. And the only thing that we could find that really fit the bill for that was Rancher. So we've built a really strong practice around it, but mainly just because it's the right tool, right? Because it works, because it's reliable, and because it helps us grow into new tools as they become available, and it doesn't just lock us in.
Yep.
And as somebody who implements open source a lot, that's so important.
Yep.
So we've had a lot of success with Rancher.
Yeah. And we were talking about, embedding the Rancher cake. which was a term I was not really familiar with, but into your whole
Yeah, yeah.
design and everything. Do you want to shed some more light on that?
Yeah, so, and it's fun to see you see artifacts from all kinds of different people, and they start to come forward. So the platforms working group kind of consolidates information that we learn. And one of the things that came out in the white paper, and I didn't make this, was and I'm showing it on the screen, was the diagram from the platform's white paper to try
Right.
to help outline the players involved. So the providers down at
Yep.
the bottom and the consumers at the top, and the product and applications
Yep.
teams, how they come together using those tools.
Yep.
Rancher just so happened to have a diagram that was really similar
Yeah.
for a long time, but it was focused on the infrastructure up and then the apps
Abs
down.
down. Yeah.
But that's platforms.
It
The people
is.
developing the apps are our consumers, and the people that are providing the tools to do that are our providers. And they start at the infrastructure usually. And so we like to kind of layer. This is the rancher cake for if it's showing on screen. And we like to just layer that over top the diagram when we show people, because we do need to start somewhere. And Rancher has all of the right foundational tools that we need. The RBAC and single sign-on, right? The storage, the different operators to be able to do infrastructure as code, a lot of the things that we're going to have to write ourselves. But the nice thing is it gives us an easy button for a lot of that, but
Yep.
gives us the chance to eject if we need to in those capability areas. If we need to implement Elastic or something that our organization requires instead of the Grafana Prometheus stack that comes with Rancher.
Yeah.
But that's perfect. That's what cloud native is about. And so we can always come back to a reliable core. And so we say Rancher is our core platform because of that. But it just simplifies our journey. And when we work with new customers, just put Rancher in place and figure the rest out later. And we've never failed with that.
And it's great to hear, actually.
Sure.
It's like I've personally been fangirl before I joined. But to hear other people across the industry echo the same sentiments is a really nice feeling, especially now that I'm sitting on the other side. So, yeah, another question that I want to, pick your brains about is where do you see all of this heading? This
Yeah.
is just a start, I believe. It's not something that we've had the maturity to develop in the little time that we've been talking about platform engineering as like a term in
Right.
general. So where do you see this heading, and what are some of the initiatives that you have in focus for the next couple of years, both from like as the co-lead of the platform working
Sure.
group, as well as on a professional front, if you're able to share about it,
Sure.
of
Yeah.
course.
And totally just thinking from a technologist hat. We talk a lot about the concept of platforms or apps of apps. And really, if we're thinking about it, all we really want at the end of the day is the ability to provide the right tools to the right people at the right time. And those tools also need to be interconnected. They need to
Correct.
work together. And cloud native has allowed us to not necessarily black box all of the dependencies into
Exactly.
one stack.
Yes.
We can operate as siblings. So I want to see, and I'm beginning to see an increase in that ability to kind of move horizontally across the stacks that you have provided instead of having like one singular stack.
Yeah.
And platforms is the focus now on providing repeatable patterns and paths, golden paths, right? If a developer wants to deploy an environment that has everything they need, it's probably going to be some sort of clone of your prod,
Correct.
right? And so I'm really excited to see that. But we've had some events happen in the industry too recently, sales of companies and acquisitions, where these ecosystems have shut down. And
Correct. Yes.
so everyone's worried about risk and the ability to move. And I think all of the vendors and the providers of these tools are now understanding that need, in order to be able to acquire users, they need to be able to move from another platform, not migrate,
Avoid
but
that lock-in that you were talking about
yeah,
earlier.
there's cooperation that needs to happen, not just, an easier
Yeah.
path to consumption. And so the person that wins is the user when
Yeah.
that happens, right? I can jump to a cost control tool, but in context, I can go directly to the workload in another
Correct.
tool, but then I can jump into the infrastructure. There's all kinds of things. And as a practicing software engineer, I need that so that I can ship good software.
Yeah.
Right. So that's crucial to me. So I'm going to win
Mm.
as a software developer because of all the things that are happening. And hopefully there's still going to be a lot of chaos, but hopefully chaos means good choice and reliable choice and not just chaos.
Correct. And on that note, I would really, really thank you for coming here. Because it's as usual a pleasure chatting with you. Since we tend to have similar views, I've noticed. But essentially, it's been lovely chatting with you. And for those of you who are interested in joining the platform working group, how can they get started?
So look up Tag App Delivery or just Google the CNCF Platforms Working Group. There's a CNCF Slack as well. Go get involved there. We have a really easy contribution path. And with platforms, it's a really diverse group of folks. We've got vendors, we've got providers, we have big companies, we've got small companies, lots of great opinions. And the best part about it to me is that everybody that's participated is doing it from a human perspective. They're trying to do things better for other people. So it's really rewarding, but it really exposes us to all kinds of fun technical challenges as well. And I feel like it's kind of bringing the human back to IT a little bit. And to me, that's really important. So please, like, get involved, if anything, just to come watch. It's super
Absolutely.
valuable.
I will link all of the things that you've just said in the description to the video so that people can find it easily. Thank you so much for coming by and for spending some of your time with us and chatting about platform engineering. It really is a pleasure to have you here.
Yeah, great way to start Friday.
Yeah, great way to start Friday for me too. Thank you so much
Yeah,
and have a
thanks.
great one.